the meeting of the Douglas Library Board of Trustees, our monthly meeting. Today is Monday, April 12th at 7 p.m. And I welcome everyone. With us this evening, Kevin Sullivan, Marion Spalding, M.A., Gail, Althea, Dale, and Beth. So first thing on the, I'm sorry?
And Donna.
Oh, and Donna. Good. I didn't know that. Thank you. Hi, Donna.
She's muted, but she's here.
Hi,
Okay.
Peter. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
And Pat appears to have just entered the room. So she's here as well.
Oh, good. Excellent. Hi, Pat.
Or I'm assuming that's Pat, Pam's iPad. Oh, wait, no, is that Pam from the Friends? Pam, can you hear me?
Looks like Pam's iPad. It must be Pam, Peter Cohen.
Hey,
Hey, it is.
Hey, Pam.
it is.
I saw PA and my mind jumped to Pat. It's Pam.
Okay, so the first thing is the pledge. So if everyone will join in, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice
just
for all. Good. Okay, time for public comments. Is there anyone out in the audience from the public that would like to comment? No one? Okay, hearing no one, we'll get right to reports then. The minutes from last month's meeting, the March 8th minutes, which were in the package. I trust everyone has had an opportunity to review them. Were there any comments about the minutes? Any corrections, additions, deletions?
I thought they were good,
I'll make a motion to
didn't make
accept
it
those
good.
minutes.
and I'll second it.
Okay, so that was Gail that made the motion, and I believe that was Dale that seconded the motion.
Yep.
Okay, any further discussion?
Well, wait a
Hearing-
minute. Gail,
Okay,
Gail Richmond was absent. I don't think she should be acting on it.
That's fine. I'll abstain if that's the wish of the board.
Okay, then I will make the motion to accept them and someone can second it.
okay, so Dale made the motion. Is there a second? Peter will second the motion.
Okay. There were just like two minor typos or something, but I don't remember what they were right now. I don't have them in front of me. But other than that, they're fine.
Any other comments about the minutes?
I was
Okay.
absent, and I want to comment that after reading them today, I really got a good feel for what was discussed. They were excellent.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, Mary, you
Well,
did a great job.
That's our talented clerk.
Yes.
Oh. Okay, so I'll take the roll call. Beth, your vote?
Aye.
Dale? Dale?
I,
Althea?
Aye.
Gail?
Aye.
MA?
Abstain.
And I will vote aye. I trust that's everybody. Okay, the ayes have it. Good. Financial report. Kevin?
Okay, financial reports are in your packet. As you can see, we're doing well. We're getting close to the end of the fiscal year. And we're mostly on track to spend down all of our line items. So there's a couple of things like our computer technology is a little bit underspent at this point. I've only spent about half of it so far. And some of that thing, a lot of stuff renews in May. So we generally get a lot of bills around then. So some of the higher line items will likely be spent down over the next month and a half. The finance department has asked department heads to close down open purchase orders earlier this year. Normally they ask us to kind of button everything up early to mid-June, and they're asking to do that by the end of April, so they can get to work on closing up the fiscal year. So I'm calling in some invoices early, so we should have a next month. I think it's going to look significantly different. We'll be a lot closer to the end of our funds then. But yeah, that's all I've got. I'll take any questions if anybody has any questions.
No accounts we're in trouble with in terms of overextended.
No, if you look on the spreadsheet, there's one that looks like it's overextended. That's the heating fuel line.
I was going to
Yeah.
ask about that.
Yeah, so the heating fuel is, those bills are paid directly over at Town Hall, but the line itself isn't overextended. It just looks like they took out two purchase orders so they have a larger purchase order open than is in the account, but they haven't spent nearly that much of it. So they've over encumbered, I should say.
Well, I was wondering because, the heating oil was high and the library was closed and I was going, why?
Yeah.
Now, how about books? Am I misreading books?
Under materials?
Oh, that's on the 016.
Oh, wait, no, you're right. That does look.
No.
That does look like that's what that's the first time I've noticed that. Negative.
Says the budget balance is a negative, and then of course the uncommitted the same.
Yeah, I scanned over that and didn't notice that before. I've been working with the finance department on the we have a few $1,000s left in books that a lot of it's sitting on open POs that are going to be closed up. So I'm not concerned about where we are in terms of the materials line. I kind of break it out month by month, so I know how much I'm supposed to be spending. So I'm not sure why that looks like that's overspent. I will reach out to the finance department and ask about that. Sorry, I should have done
Oh,
that.
you're talking library materials.
Yeah.
And I was talking 016 books.
Oh,
that's
016
different.
books. But I see library materials, and when you say books, I think that line, that's my normal books line. That 016, so that is a purchase order that was taken out a while back. We had discussed starting to offer like personal hygiene products in our public bathrooms as a potential need for the community. We were going to try it as a pilot program, but the building's been closed. So I ended up taking out the PO, but I haven't purchased anything with it. It shows a negative balance there because that's just how the 016 accounts work, because they don't show a positive, they don't show that there's any balance in there. So when you take a PO away from it, it just looks like it's a negative balance. But if you look at the bottom there, the actual 016 balance is $27,000. So it's not actually overextended. That's just how it looks with the 016 account.
Any other questions on the budgeted materials that Kevin provided?
Not on the budgeted materials, but Kevin, why did you said you were asked to close up early, so to speak? Why was that? I missed it.
Oh, it was a request of the finance department. They asked all the department heads to close up their POs that are currently open by the end of the month. I think they're just trying to get organized in advance of the end of the year. So that way they can just see exactly what's left to be spent. And then instead of drawing down on POs, they've asked us to direct pay essentially for the rest of the year with what's remaining.
So do you mean instead of going till June or something, or?
No, I mean, it still goes all the way through June. They're just they just made this request to get organized earlier. So I think so they can probably change over the fiscal year when we get over into July sooner.
Okay,
They
but
discussed this-
we're not losing anything. We're not losing money or anything like that, are we?
No, it's
No.
just an organizational thing. It's all still there. It's just
Yeah. Oh,
getting
Oh.
organized a little bit earlier. It's probably
yeah.
better.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions of Kevin? Okay, Kevin, you're on for your director's report.
Okay. Okay, so library continues to operate well since we've reopened in February. Some more patrons are gradually coming in. So we had a little under 4,000 in our gate count last month, 3935. So that was our largest gate count since September of last year. And then circulation numbers are rising as well. So we moved 3630 items in March of 3,630 items. And that's the most since last August. So we're gradually seeing our numbers edge back up, which is good. It still feels slow in here, but people are slowly returning, which is nice. Digital circulation has been steady this whole time. It makes up a little over 1,200, 1,300 items a month, about a third of the total circulation in March. We've been consistently hitting our budgeted ceiling for expenditures on people items. Those are very popular with the public. So those numbers, there would likely be more digital circulation if we put more money into those products. The same goes with Overdrive. Staff is functioning well. A lot of them are fully vaccinated, which is a relief, and we're all working in that direction. Bibliomation upgraded Evergreen to Evergreen 3.5 over the weekend on Saturday night. So I wrote the report last week, but everything largely went smoothly. We had a couple of issues we were dealing with over the day where we lost some of our print templates and some printers weren't communicating correctly. But all of our large issues have been ironed out. There's a couple of nagging details that I'm going to speak with Bibliomation about later in the week. I didn't want to bother him today, figuring it's the first day after an upgrade. There are probably people with more serious problems than what I was going to bother them with. So new upgrades working well. It's not significantly different from what we were using before. It introduces a few new features and it rearranges some items and changes some language, but there really doesn't need to be any additional staff training. So a couple of new features. Automatic item renewals will eventually be something that will be available. That's not active as of yet. There are baskets in the catalog now, so you can kind of add all of your items, all your holds into a basket and deal with it all at once as if you were checking out in a store instead of dealing with everything one at a time. On the staff end, we are able to sort item holds lists better, which was a large problem when we had long hold lists and we couldn't place them easily in call number order like we wanted to. They introduced a preferred name option for patrons, which is something we've actually been discussing about. We discussed personally among staff the last couple of months. We've had a few patrons who prefer to be called different names than what is actually on their driver's license or mail that they bring in, and we want to be able to make our patrons feel this is a welcoming environment. So we were discussing what was the best way to make them feel welcome while also accurately identifying them, so other libraries knew who they were. And this new feature solves that. It essentially gives us multiple name fields that we can add in, so we can call them whatever they'd like, and also have a record of what's on their state IDs as well. There are carousel creation options in the catalog now that will let us feature items for like holiday books or a certain genre, kind of make a virtual display on the catalog home screen. So that's another new thing that looks good. So all in all, it seems like a good upgrade, and I'm excited to see this this ILS improving as we're using it. So the patrons are once again able to access ebooks and audiobooks from the state library's collection. So the state library has an ebook and audiobook collection that was largely available through the RB Digital application. Since RB Digital was absorbed by Overdrive a few months ago, how patrons were accessing the state library's materials kind of went away because the RB Digital app wasn't available for them anymore. So the state library has their own app that they've been developing. They're using one that the New York Public Library put together and customizing it for the state. It's called Simply E, and it's part of their EGO program, which is their digital materials collection. So the Simply E app, we had to get configured in so our patrons will be able to use it, and that's all active and ready to go now. It lets you browse through all the state library's materials, and it also brings in Overdrive materials. The ultimate goal for it is to be like a one-stop shop where all of our ebooks and audiobooks can just come into one app that patrons can just search in one area, which would be great. It's not quite there yet, but it's looking good so far.
Does it include state library archives or anything?
Excuse me. It doesn't include archives. It just includes anything that would be in their ebook collection. So it's mostly like classic titles and some popular fiction. Their archival material, I think, typically isn't digitized and brought into the collection that way. Some of it is searchable through Research It, their database collection, and some of it is still just available in paper form.
Okay, thanks.
I'll go over building updates when we get there, but other notes, longtime LTA Ashley Lotto has been promoted to LTA 2 this past week. We had an opening in our LTA 2 positions last fall, and I'm excited that we're able to bring her on. It's been really great for us and give her a little more responsibility. The Children's Department is continuing to offer video story times and take and make projects. So far they've given away 816 projects, and 215 of those were in March alone. So those are very popular. We're doing that with the adult and teen craft kits as well. We distributed 86 of those in March. We're doing a lot of prep for summer reading. So this year we are planning on having 3 programs, one for adults, one for teens, and one for children. Most of the Children's Department programs have already been booked. They're gonna take place Thursdays at 1 p.m. during the summer. We still don't know how much programs are going to be able to be in person versus virtual. So Sherry's doing her best to kind of plan it both ways. If they can be in person, that's the preference, but we're letting all of our vendors know that they need to be able to offer it both ways, and we can let them know as soon as we're able to what we'll actually be doing. So fingers crossed that by summer we can start having people do stuff in person, even if it's just outdoors. The Nutmeg books will be officially announced on May 1st. We have at least 1 copy of each item on the list. And our public computers are functioning well after the work that Novus did last month. I'm still working with them to get the book scanner functioning completely. And similar, I've been working with the manufacturer to get our 3D printer up and running again. It's been not running well for quite some time, and I'm trying to get that troubleshooted. And then finally, my workshop for the month was census data literacy, data that counts. It was run through the ALA workshop, and they showed us some of the different tools for the census and talked about the challenges and how they made out with the 2020 census. Any questions on any of that report?
Good. Thank you, Kevin. Friends of the Douglas Library. Pam, are you out there?
I am here.
Welcome.
It's been a while. well, the Friends finally had a Zoom meeting. And we were discussing the upcoming, hopefully, I mean, I think as of now, the book sale is going to be this Saturday. So we had a Zoom meeting and we were discussing everything. Our big dilemma at the meeting was what to do about children's books. And fortunately, Sue Porter volunteered the old town hall. So at the book sale, children's are going to be in the old town hall and adults are going to be in the community room. So hopefully that will, because there was a big discussion, what could we do? Because last November when we had September, excuse me, we didn't have November sale. September, when we had the sale, we had the children's out back, which made it better for the room and allowed adults in the room. And that way we could accommodate a few more people. So hopefully everything goes well and we're able to have the book sale. I think everybody's a little bit more confident this time because it just, I think more of us are willing to work longer shifts because at least we feel we have some protection against the virus. So as far as I know, when I talked to Tim and Maureen, we do have enough people to man both stations for the day. So other than that, you know, not a lot has occurred with the Friends. I mean, we've gotten a lot of donations because some of the other places that normally take donations are we're not accepting donations. So I think everybody in the library knows that we need to have a book sale.
Also, people were cleaning out their houses, you know, so
yeah, I mean, we've just been, you know, I mean, Tim and Maureen were great about taking stuff out of the bin and storing it in their house. And then, you know, Kevin was great about allowing them to come in with some of it so they could have some room in their house again. It's been an interesting last few months. But hopefully we'll be able to get rid of a lot of books at this book sale. And I think that's about it. I mean, for the Friends.
Well, thank you. Anybody have any questions of Pam or the Friends?
I'd just like to add the book sale last September, which I worked the whole day, was a big success. And everyone was just delighted that we had a book sale. They had missed them. So this coming Saturday, I'm expecting to see a lot of people in there. People are really, really looking forward to a book sale.
Great. Okay, next item, Town Manager's Representative, Donna.
Hello. I don't have a whole lot to report. We did open the town offices last Monday. We reopened the buildings to the public, the town office building and the Horton House. So it's good. It's nice to have people back in the building. There hasn't been a huge rush of people coming in. The senior center is still closed and we're going to wait to open the senior center until others, senior centers in the area. We want to do it, be consistent with the area. And that is about it. We're busy with budget and we have our public hearing, the Board of Finance budget public hearing tomorrow night. And then they'll be setting their budget that will go to referendum. And we will be voting in person on May 4th. So that is it.
Good,
Thank you.
thank you. Any questions of Donna?
How long do you think before the senior center will be open? Like a ballpark figure?
I think they're thinking maybe June or July. They're meeting with people. They have been meeting with people all along. It's just that we're not ready to open for programming. But they are doing, they're doing everything that they can do outreach wise. They meet with
Not really.
people. They meet with people outside. They did the tax program. They're doing a little bit more transportation now. So they're doing what they can do safely.
Yeah, okay.
Good, thank you. Gail, you're up.
Yes, I don't have anything much to add to what Donna said, but to follow up on the senior center, the zero isolation program has been up and running, and it's trying to reach those people who don't have the means of getting out on their own and connecting with people. The last time I knew, which was about 10 days ago, they were looking for some volunteer people to participate in the program. So they could see how it was working. It's a brand new program started by a professor down at Yale. That's it, Peter.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of Gail? No, hearing none, I guess I'm on, and I really don't have anything. Just happy that we're almost back to business as normal in the library. I know Kevin's got a couple of things he's going to discuss with us on the capital end when we get to the building report, which is next on the list. So what do we have for our building updates on this nice spreadsheet, Kevin?
Okay, so the roof is moving ahead slowly. The building committee is currently reviewing the options laid out in the report that was submitted by Gordian. That was in your packet last month. They'll be making a recommendation to the town shortly. Our window replacement project has hit a speed bump. We were getting our windows ordered from a vendor who can no longer make the windows. So they made 2/3 of them for the building, but they can't do this last order that the contract was put in. So he's replaced the order with a different supplier. So they ought to be coming through. It just means that we thought we'd be receiving them soon, and actually it's probably going to be another 8 weeks or something like that before they actually arrive. But it's happening, just as always, a little slower than we want. Carpeting.
They'll match what we already had.
Yeah, it'll match what we already had. Yeah. The carpeting is 99% complete in the building. There's a small section in the Friends area that hasn't been done. It's really just a little staircase leading up to the landing there. Somebody came in to do it and was missing one of the pieces of the stairs that they needed to finish it. So last I heard, they're going to try and come in later this week, as long as the correct material arrives, and then we can put a bow on that project and call it complete. Everything looks pretty good. We did a walkthrough at one point, and they gave me a can of spray adhesive. So the way the tiles are, they will occasionally pop up, and it's just good to have a little bit of that adhesive. We have to give them a little extra help sticking down instead of just stomping on them. So happy with that so far, and getting a lot of compliments from the public. And let's see, I think that's it for building stuff. We're nearing the end of our large list.
Yeah, that's exciting. Any questions about the building or the Capitol?
No.
Okay, let's move on to Poet Laureate. MA?
Yeah, you probably wonder why in the heck there are 2 poems in here. Well, I'm ready to tell you. We received one from Larry Zimmerman, and then Kevin copied, what's her name? Lulu Porter Jones' little anthology of poetry. She's a local. She lived, you know where the Gil Jones garage was, or where the house was that was torn down when the library addition and parking lot were put in?
Yeah.
Just across the other side. Anyway, that's where this woman, Lulu Jones, lived. And she was an interesting poet, but after I got saw the one from Larry, and then I looked at hers, she wrote one about the glories of war. You really should read it, and then you'll understand why I combined the two. She lost her son in the war in 1943, and she never got over it. So it's interesting, and it just made me see how we could potentially use a poet laureate, educationally. If that person went to RAM and took a couple poems like this, and the kids could really be brought in, I think, to thinking about it. Anyway, we have, Kevin, you have another poem to put in the newsletter next time?
Yes, we've received another submission that I forwarded on to the Poet Laureate Committee, so we have something to put in the next newsletter.
Even though we can't meet and we can't have a poet's tea or anything, I just wish we could get something moving, like put something in the paper about our plans. Put something in the River East, so that would get to people in addition to the newsletter, and perhaps we could get a poet, some submissions that way, or I don't know. We've let it go for so long, and I hate that idea.
Well, do you want to put something in the River East under library news, Kevin's report that he puts in there?
I think perhaps it should be separate. What does anyone else think? It could be in there. First time could be in there and see what happens. And then if it doesn't bring any poems, then we could separate it another time.
Okay, I just put in a little something where we list all of the events that basically what's in the newsletter. We are seeking submissions to be published in our newsletter from local poets. Here's where you send them. If you want to do like a larger press release about it at some time, it's something we could consider too.
I think the poems went over very well in that last newsletter. It was an interesting newsletter, and to have a poem featured there, it just made it more personal to the town of Hebron.
I thought it was excellent. Yeah.
Every library's newsletter has items pertaining to things which all are generic to all libraries, but it made ours stand out. It made ours special to have the poem. And so I think we should continue that. And that means we have to continue to recruit more poems.
Well, and I think we should be introducing not just the request for poems, but also start introducing the poet laureate position that we're planning on doing such in the not too distant future.
Now that might be a good idea for June or July when we know how things are shaking out with the virus. Yeah. Whenever I'm ready to work on it.
Okay, anything else on the Poet Laureate?
It's Althea's turn to talk.
I think it's a good idea. I'm looking forward to it, and I'll be ready to work on it as well.
Great.
And
So-
any poets in the audience, please submit your verse.
I'm waiting to see one from Peter.
May not want to hold your breath on that one, Gail.
Yeah. I just couldn't let you get away without being teased.
Okay, fiscal year 21-22 budget. Anything new, Kevin? We should be all set, as I recall.
Yep, we're just waiting to see what shakes out with the vote on it eventually. But yep, we're all set. No new news there.
Good. Nominating committee report, Gail.
My big news is that I had someone who is willing to work with Peter and Kevin to be the chairman of our board. Unfortunately, and I don't know why, she is not present this evening, but as of 2 days ago, she was very much looking forward to coming and co-working with Peter tonight. So that's all I can tell you. I'll have to follow up on that tomorrow. But Peter, you spoke with her.
Yes, I
Kevin,
did.
I'm not sure if you did.
Not directly, just.
No,
through you,
okay.
Peter.
But I know, Peter, you spoke with her
Yes.
because I talked to her after that.
Well, should we put election of officers on the agenda then for next month?
I think we better, yeah.
And we'll define officers as the chair, vice chair, and secretary, since we don't have a treasurer anymore, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Peter, you've been the secretary too. You took on this other job.
Yes,
You going to continue?
I've been busy. Thanks so much to our able-bodied Marion.
Did you want to mention, I don't know, does everyone know that Pat Ayers is the one you're talking about?
I don't think so. So, okay, I went down the whole list. As you know, I've been trying to find someone for the position. And given Pat's background and her knowledge of some things, I figured I'd try her. And after many questions and the like, she was willing to give it a try. Of course, I assured her that Kevin, Peter, myself, Donna would be very willing to assist her with the background information that she does not have. And I did send her a copy of the ordinance so that she would see where we're at. So I'll follow up tomorrow, and I will send an email out to all of you and let you know that things are still on board or not.
I will touch base with Pat as well after your email, Gail.
Okay.
Okay.
And I do, the person that I said was really seriously considering joining the board for our vacancy is put me off till June, the end of the school year. So I'll continue to follow up on that and keep you posted as always.
Thank you. A lot of hard work. Appreciate that. Okay, in the package, Kevin provided us with the current names on the strategic plan update committee. He also provided us with a suggested outline that we're going to take another look at and probably follow the way things are. So if anyone on the board has any comments that they would like to see addressed, please let us know. And as soon as we know when we will be virtually meeting, we will get notification out to the board, because I know a few of you folks have expressed an interest of at least attending those meetings. So I don't know if anyone has any comments regarding the draft that Kevin sent out.
I'm just reading that you're going to form the committee this month and next. So it's moving quickly.
Yeah, under the guidelines we have to work with in terms of the COVID-19, it is, yeah. And we're looking at 5 voting members and 3 additional members who wouldn't vote, but certainly we would look for their input and their expertise.
My next question is, who would the 5 voting members be? What positions would hold votes?
Well, thus far, in my opinion, 4 of the 5 are ready to go, and that's Gail, Pat, Ayers, Kevin, and myself. We do not have a 5th person yet, so if anyone on the board wishes to participate, in addition to us, please let us know.
And
Yeah,
Peter, I
have
think
we
we should
recruited
mention
from
that,
the-
what, Donna?
Sorry, go on, Gail.
I was going to say the non-voting members don't have to be the same throughout the length of the strategic plan committee meeting. Those people can be rotated in as you deal with the different constituencies within the town, in order to get the input from all sides of the town.
Good point. Thank you. Donna, you had something?
I was going to ask if we have tried to recruit from the public. Have we put any press releases in the paper or advertised it on our website or Facebook pages?
No, we haven't gotten that far. We just discussed this outline. This is as far as we've gotten.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a little confused. I'm
Well, wait a
reading the
minute, wait
whole
a
thing.
minute, MA, wait a minute. I'm not sure Donna was done. Donna, are you all set?
For now, yes. Thank you, Peter.
Okay. Okay, MA.
This is the, I'm gonna call it the oversight committee, but it also seems to reference brainstorming, you know, the breakdown of the individual areas, you know, safe space, tech, diversity, and so on. And that's additional people. Are they included in this plan, or is this just oversight for the entire strategic whatever?
Thus far, the 4 people that are on board, so to speak, with the strategic update committee are myself, Pat, Gail, and Kevin.
I know
and-
you just said that,
and-
but
No, I understand, but we're the ones that, in my opinion, that are going to be rolling up our sleeves and doing the work to update and revise the existing strategic plan. Once that's done, we'll bring it back to the board with our recommendations, the board, the Hebron Douglas Library Board. Once the library board signs off on it, then we, as a library board, will bring it over to the selectmen. So I think to answer your question, we're the working committee. We're not necessarily supervising anybody. We're working on it. Gail, do you have anything to add to that?
Mary Ann, if you're looking at the trustees committee list that's in our agenda packet, that's the list that was germinated from the strategic plan of 2 years ago. So it's not part of the new one until we make any of those headings part of the new one. Strategic planning is taking another direction in this 21st century kind of libraries looking forward to the future. So there will be some differences in how we address this.
okay, all right. Now I get it better. It's gonna be a big change. This is a whole new
Yes.
plan. Okay.
Yes, yeah. Libraries, as you know, as I go the different libraries around the state and confer with the Connecticut State Library, what they're looking at now is how to keep libraries relevant to the 21st century. The pandemic threw that very much in the forefront because of the fact that you're relying very much now on digital stuff. And even when this is hopefully over soon, you're going to see much more of a change to virtual rather than just the bodies walking into the library. So we've got a lot of work cut out for us. It's called futures planning. I'm done.
Any other questions or volunteers out there?
Put
Okay,
that title in there somewhere. Put that futures planning title up there somewhere, because that really shows that it's quite different than what we did or what you people did with Amanda back whenever.
Yeah, what we did was great, but we in the few years, times have changed. And we need to, the goal is to keep libraries relevant for our life today and where we are going.
And with that leads into the ACLB board assessment. Please get your assessments in. They're important. They do feed into the strategic plan. They certainly did the last time. I suspect they will again this time. Send it to me, send it to Kevin, send it to Gail. Please get them in. Committee assignments and gaps. There was a synopsis of which we just discussed. Some of the things in the strategic plan, as well as, of course, the poet laureate, the nominating committee. So if there are any committees that anyone wishes to serve on and help augment fellow board members, we'd appreciate it.
Now, you don't know that those strategic plan, the previous committees, they may or may not even carry forward with the futures plan.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, that's true. Okay, exterior programming tent, Kevin.
So this is an idea that I've been thinking about and talking about with the other full-time staff. With our summer programming, we don't know how much we're gonna be able to be in person. We don't know how much we're gonna be able to do inside. So I've been doing a little bit of research and looking into what it would take to purchase on a large event style tent and have it up in the rear of the library building, so we would be able to offer programming outside in like a covered manner, so you're not just baking in the parking lot during the summer and possibly beyond. So I bring this up for a couple of reasons. It's I've been looking at tents. They cost a little over $1,000 on Amazon for something in the 20 to 30 or 40 foot range with fairly good reviews. It's something that I'd like to buy out of the 016 account, which I know that I will need to get approval from the board to make a purchase that large out of that account. Additionally, I just wanted to let you know kind of where I'm at. I need to reach out to a couple of departments and speak to people about how this would work and making sure that it would be safe and feasible before I actually run out and buy anything. So I know I have to have a conversation with Randy Blaze and with Willie about how we would secure it, make sure it's not going anywhere, and just that it would be safe, and that when we get a windstorm, it's not going to be blowing across the road. The idea would be to just keep the skeleton up all the time, I believe, and then take the actual tent portion down. So I'm hoping that with that, that's something that they can get behind, and if they're okay with it, and you guys think it's a good idea, then we can look into purchasing something. But I wanted you to be aware before I just came asking you for money.
Well, a question, could you, because of the way now the openness with the driveway, the new parking lot and the drive in, so you're really exposed to the American Legion, so that would it be possible that in conjunction with the American Legion, where they've had outdoor events, that you might be able to put the tent in that area between the two buildings?
I hadn't thought about that location, but that's a good idea. I had thought of in the rear of the building, there's a little patch of grass that is kind of the same size as a tent would be. And it'd be near the parking lot and also kind of near the back door. So if something was kind of inside and outside, kind of like how the Friends book sale was in September, that it might make sense location wise. But having it on the side of the building could be nice too. It would be a little more protected on both sides than there. But yeah, I haven't had any conversations
Have you
about that.
It just came to my brain while you were talking. So.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
have you looked in?
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry, Emma, go ahead.
Have you looked into seasonal rentals? The only reason I'm saying that is then the rental company would put the darn things up and take it down.
Not seriously, I just anecdotally know how expensive those are to rent
Yeah.
for a day or two. That I'm fairly certain that we would be much better off purchasing, but that is research that I would have to do before we pull the trigger on purchasing anything. But yeah, anecdotally, I just assume that if we use it twice, it's going to be cheaper to buy our own than
Yeah.
put up a real than rent it.
It might be good for the summer program.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, since we're definitely hoping to have regular programming at a certain time. If it would work out, then it would take away some of the uncertainty about the summer programming, at least from a planning perspective. Knowing that I don't think that the health district would have a problem with us doing outside events if we could maintain proper spacing and do it in an outdoor environment, or indoor is more of a question still. Donna, I know you had a question.
Kevin, when you talked to Randy Blaze, did he say if it would have to go through planning and zoning at all?
No, I haven't talked to Randy yet. I sent him an email and I haven't heard back, so I've got to
Okay,
chase him down this week a little bit more.
Mhm.
I also expect that planning and zoning
because
will have to get involved in some
we
way.
know that we would need a permit to erect the tent because anything over 10 by 10 needs a permit. But if it's going to be, it seems like it may be semi-permanent or at least there for the summer. I would think we'd at least want to run it by planning and zoning. We don't want to put something up that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
And there's,
Throw something else in on that. If you have people in the tent for an event, they're going to have access inside for restrooms.
So we do have that door, that the emergency exit door would be right next to that area.
Right, and that's
so
good.
It's not accessible right there. So that's a strike against it. But it is just a couple of steps down.
and there's no problem with storage.
I don't think so. I think that so since the pipes and everything would be, up for a couple of months, the canvas of the tent, there's a little section right below the emergency stairs that's used for storage occasionally when they were doing the carpeting in the community room. That's where they had all their supplies for a couple of months. And I'm hoping that the thing folded up would be the size of a, large tarp and would fit comfortably there to be able to be moved in and out.
Yeah,
Nice.
sounds like a good idea.
I like it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Good, then keep on it, Kevin.
Okay, I will. I'll give you an update next month.
Great.
Good. Thank you. Hebron Greater Together Community Fund grant, Kevin?
Okay, so that is the last page of your agenda. So the Hebron Greater Together Community Fund has asked for letters of interest in applying for grant funds to better the Hebron community. So after we had a program in March, the equity, the Foundations and Equity Literacy Program, Althea actually put a bug in my ear and said that this might be great to have more. This might fit into the grant that that they have out there. So I am proposing that the library apply to receive funding from that committee to bring the presenters that did that previous program back for 3 more sessions on different diversity, equity, inclusion based programming to be made public for the town. Thought it was something that I think the town would have some use for. I know we're pushing a lot in that direction and trying to do some self-examination and better understanding about what we need to do to be a more welcoming community to people of color and Indigenous peoples. So thought it was an idea, and I've put together this draft letter of interest. So I would have to submit this, and then the committee would then, if they were interested, ask me to put in a full application. It's also something that would need to be approved by these selectmen before it got too much further, but I wanted to run it by this group first and foremost. If this wasn't something that you were interested in me pursuing, I would stop, but
I think it's a good idea.
I'll second
Yeah,
that.
I do too.
okay, great.
Good.
Very timely.
Sounds like the support is there for us, Kevin. So continue on, please.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
I'm sorry, the phone rang just as you were saying. So what was your idea, just really quickly? Sorry.
Oh, it's what we spoke about. So the group that did the Foundations in Equity Literacy,
Yes, yeah.
I'm hoping to bring back either them or a similar group to do
Okay,
3 more sessions, not the same session, but
Yeah.
something
Okay,
along those
great.
lines.
okay,
I'm asking for funding for that, and then a little bit for advertising, so we can make sure that people see it.
okay, that's great.
Any other new business out there? Okay, strategic plan committee updates. I have no more updates on safe space at the moment. We're open, we're running, and we should be very proud of that. Donna, anything on technology?
I don't have anything new on technology.
Okay, diversity, Dale and Kevin.
We met in March, I think just before the Foundations and Equity Literacy program, which we both attended, and I think went quite well. Thought it was a good program, well attended, and we spoke a little bit about doing a diversity audit of the library's collection, which would just be kind of examining what we have in our collection overall and looking at the type of voices that we're offering the community to experience. So it's a long project, and I'm still kind of wrapping my head around it a little bit. I actually have a webinar later this month that I'm going to go on to see how some other libraries have approached it. But that's a potential long-term goal. That's something I could see maybe being like a strategic plan goal for going forward. With that, and we talked a little bit about the Lotus Flower program that's coming up this month, which is a Korean cultural program. So I think just doing our best to bring more voices to the town as best we can. Dale, anything you want to add?
No, I think we had a good discussion. We were there going many different areas, and then talking about the book collection and what, how you can meet the needs of the community, but also add diversity to the collection. And it's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a balance that it's a challenge, and a balance that we need to see if we're striking correctly.
Kevin, you had mentioned an audit of the library's collection.
Mhm.
Would that be done by an independent third party?
It would be done. I mean, if if we could afford to hire an independent third party, that would be great. I envisioned it something that would be done in-house. It's a lot of data collection. So what I've read some other groups have done is take a random sampling of the collection and then examine those materials. So let's say 10% of the collection, something significant, but maybe something we can chip away at over a year. And examining the background of the authors that created that material, the subject matter, the main characters, and just sort of break down in like a a way you can map out data-wise what are the voices in the collection, who's writing most of the material that we're reading, what characters are in most of the material that we're offering the public, and then taking those numbers and then matching them up against what we think we'd like our ideal collection to look like, which would be, in my opinion, a balance of the demographics of the community, the demographics of the state, and then the larger demographics of the country and the world. So we want to make sure we're reflecting local interest, absolutely, but making sure we're not only reflecting, local interest, in that we're providing a lot of different ideas, as well as what's maybe most accessible to the community here. So that's the idea. It would be a lot of data collection. My hope would be that I could break it down in a way that it would be something that the desk staff could assist me with the collection, and we could do it over a period of time, and then make some collection development policies afterwards that would direct the, steer the collection into the area where we want it to go.
Good. Okay, thank you. Sounds like you did a lot of work. Community, Gail?
Nothing new to report, Peter.
Okay, and lifelong learning, Althea?
Okay, the Mount Rushmore program.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be presented this Friday. The presenter is the son of the carver of Mount Rushmore. Will be at 1 o'clock, and the library has purchased his book, and so that should be pretty exciting. And then Kevin mentioned the equity literature program that was held, which I guess was well attended. And then there was the takeaway craft program on succulent gardens. There's going to be a kite making program, pretty much for 12 and older to adult age.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a takeaway craft. So 12 and older is probably
Yeah, yeah. So that could be fun for adults. I thought this is pretty cool. There's going to be a lotus flower lantern program. Where you can make that lantern, I think, right?
Yep.
And it's going to be, there's going to be a speaker presenting that from New York, from the Korean Spirit and Culture Project program. So you'll be learning about or participants learning about the Korean culture. So it also sounded very timely, very interesting. In general, though, my understanding is that program has just been a little bit slow right now, but at the same time, it sounds like we're offering, or the library's offering, some pretty good programs, some diverse programs, which is something that we definitely want to do. So,
Good job.
Good job. Very good job.
Yeah, very good job. Yeah.
We've been getting more questions from the regular groups that used to meet, the chess group, the knitting group. These groups are starting to get itchy to come back in and meet again. So once again, hopefully by summer, maybe we can, allow them to gather again, use the community room for, a small-ish group of people, and just have them spaced out. And
Maybe
able to see
by
each other
fall the
in person again.
movies. Maybe by fall the movies can come back.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I'm
that would be
optimistic about the
nice.
movies in the summer too, because same thing, they're attended. They're usually not a ton of people there. It's a large space, so you could probably comfortably accommodate, 30 or so people in that room, and usually that many people don't attend. We would just have to work out exactly what the food restrictions would be, since we normally do popcorn and drinks and stuff.
Well, we could avoid that if people could, if they brought their own,
Right.
or, you don't have to have
Yeah.
food. It'd be fun to have just the movie and be with other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the price is right.
Okay, anything else? Hearing nothing, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second that.
Sound like Dale and Gail to me.
Right.
Yeah, it's at 8:04. How about that?
8:04. Okay, well, we got to vote on this now. Beth, for against.
Aye, 4.
Dale,
Oh, 4.
Althea,
4.
Gail,
4.
MA,
Sure.
and I'll make it unanimous. Thank you all very much.
Have a
Stay
good
healthy.
Yeah. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Good
You
night.
too. Night, everyone.
night.
Night.
See everyone. Bye.